sold out. Robins Center, 7,201 in attendance here, where the Spiders are 9-1 at home this season. They beat VCU last year in the A-10 quarterfinals, 75-64. Schools separated by just 6.2 miles.
Not a lot of black and gold in here. They'd like to come and try to inundate this. In years past, I feel like there was more Ram support. The Spiders are out in full force. We've got a great atmosphere between two big-time teams.
Awesome officiating crew we have for this one here as well. Ron Gruber, Jeffrey Anderson, and Doug Sermons. And Richmond begins with the ball first.
Jason Nelson, number 1 in white, their point guard, one to watch. Redshirt freshman, local product. But again, how does he handle this environment and handle the pressure of the Rams?
Neal Quinn inside, and misses rebound VCU. Here's the starting five for the Rams tonight.
It's VCU starting five. Me at the point guard, Adrian Baldwin Jr. from Baltimore, Maryland. At the 2, we got Jaden J. Nunn from Flint, Michigan. At the 3, we got Nick Slick Kern Jr. from St. Louis, Missouri. At 4, we got Brandon Johns Jr. from Lansing, Michigan. At 5, we got Jalen J.J. DeLoach from Savannah, Georgia.
All right, thanks, Ace. Brandon Johns in the bucket for VCU to get them started here tonight.
Good face-up from Johns, a transfer from Michigan. And on the other side, VCU defending right now. You see Quinn, they're trying to get him another touch in the post. Jalen DeLoach did a great job defending Quinn. You want to make him go to his left shoulder, his left hand. Right shoulder, his left hand. They did just that.
Shot clock, down to 2. Burton, and they don't get a shot off.
See, the press isn't always about turning you over with the press. They almost got a 10-second call. They got the ball into the front court with 20 seconds, and then they got to run their offense, the Princeton offense, with all the cuts. When you make them work just to get it into that, you've already won half the battle.
You're 100% right. That's exactly right. And they are able to affect your offense and when you can get into it, and they just get you off balance and out of rhythm at times. Here's Baldwin. Corralled in the corner for VCU and put up by Jaden Nunn. No good. Rebound, Burton. Let's go to the starting five for the Richmond Spiders here tonight.
Starting tonight at point guard, we got Richmond's finest, Jay Nell, number 1, Jason Nelson. At the 2 guard, we got the Goose, number 22, Andre Gustafson. At forward, we got me, number 3, Tyler Burton. Shout out Uxbridge, Massachusetts. At forward, we got Matty Big Shots, Matt Grace. And then finally, in the center, we got the big potato, Neal Quinn.
You like that, big potato?
I love the big potato. Yeah. Big potato, Matty Grace, Tyler Burton show a little personality with us there. There's we see his body, though, has developed over the years to take that initial kind of forearm shiver that he got going to the basket there from Nick Kern and then help from the block.
Nelson was out of bounds in that previous possession after he drilled a 3. Of course, it did not count. Here's Grace getting it back, faking on the 3. Burton bombs up a 3, and that was altered by the excellent defense from VCU.
He wanted a foul call there, but he used that ball fake, get in the lane.
Mike Rhodes for the Rams. He's got his team on a run right now. They've won 4 in a row and 9 of the last 10.
In that win, we'll show you this from last week against Dayton on the road on Friday night. They know what it's like to win in a very difficult atmosphere. You know, Dayton Arena had 14,000 strong there. It was wild, and they won coming back, never went away. That's why they were prepared to play and win this game, they believe. And Ace Baldwin, the guy with the ball, is a key cog in that as he puts up the 3. One of the best lead guards in the country.
Jalen DeLoach in the offensive rebound. What a game that he had in the last one. 19 points, 12 rebounds, and 3 blocks for the Rams in their win against UMass at home. No good there. Rebound pulled in by Quinn. All right, what do you got here for Richmond? Well, that's what they try to do, and it's played perfectly by Nick Kern.
And the other way to Johns. Good body control, but can't finish. 3 turnovers already for the Spiders, a team that's very good at not turning the ball over. This year, though, we talked about with Chris Mooney, they've just been a little more sloppy with the ball, and they've had some mental errors that led to 3 turnovers already in the first 3 minutes.
Nelson for 3.
And you see him, the young freshman, feeling it again. A local product, John Marshall High School, a factory of basketball players here in the area. Got recruited by VCU, but ultimately wanted to come here to Richmond and hits a 3, and he needs that. He only shoots 30% from the three-point line. He can knock it down, helps their offense even more.
Yeah, it took the Spiders 3 minutes and 20 seconds to get on the board, and now they lead it 3-2 here in the low-scoring affair to start. Baldwin's pass intercepted. Burton gets it to Nelson.
Mike Rhodes told us, I want us the guys to play off 2 feet. Ace gets in there. If he jump stops on 2, maybe shot fake, and a shot. He kept it running and just lost the ball. It made a really tough pass.
Burton dumps it for Quinn, gets it back. Grace, good up fake on the three, takes it in. Contact, no, the tip is there from Quinn.
Second time Grace has used his ball fake very well. One time he got a paint touch off it, off the bounce. This time he gets himself to the lane.
5-2 lead for the Spiders early. Jaden Nunn for Kern. VCU 1 for 6 from the field. Johns, and he's got both of their buckets now, 2 of 7. And it's a 5-4 game.
When he goes by the bounce all the way in there, somebody's got to foot fake at him, make him feel some pressure, because he also wants to get back to his left shoulder with that right hook. And he was very comfortable in rhythm.
Outstanding addition to the Rams team, the transfer out of Michigan, Brandon Johns, number 30 for VCU. Coming up on 5 minutes gone by in the first half. Nelson for Grace.
16 seconds in, the first pass they made. That is not normal for a Spiders offense.
Yeah, good observation. Quinn here inside, losing the handle. Now 5 to shoot. Grace for 3. Ooh, almost a steal, Burton. Kern, nifty.
Great body control. Burton actually, it seemed like he was in between two minds. Like he didn't want to go, but it was almost too easy. But I think that hesitation then, he couldn't get the steal, and they were in transition.
And now VCU's up a point. They got 3 subs ready to check in at the next whistle when we get the media timeout coming here at the next dead ball. We haven't had a break yet. Here's Quinn working on Deloach. Powers his way in. They're going to call the foul, and it's going to be on Deloach. And Quinn will shoot free throws when we return to Richmond. It was really the start of that second half because it was a 14-point deficit for VCU, and they cut it in half to 7 about 3 minutes in, prompted a timeout, and then they just kept battling. And here's a look at what we got coming up on these Friday nights. It's going to be a lot of fun. St. Louis next week at Davidson. You got VCU again the following week. Dayton a couple more times, and then we'll be back right here in Richmond, Virginia on February 24th for the flip side as Richmond goes 6 miles across town to the Siegel Center to take on the Rams on their home court.
You know, it was wild, Mike. When we signed off air, we were in a bit of disbelief, but you looked around, 14,000 strong at UD Arena. There were probably 3,000 people just in their seats, just kind of shell-shocked. They could not believe that place was rocking. They could not believe they lost that game. And I was using the restroom on the way out, and the men's room had quite a line. And it was all a bunch of fans saying the same thing. They couldn't believe it. And there was one VCU fan. Not VCU fan. Well, yeah, one VCU fan running his mouth quite a bit. I looked at him, I was like, sir, you might want to get out of here.
Yeah,
Didn't say it, but I was thinking,
the win.
You may want to leave here.
It was, and you don't really see that a lot from the Flyers, and that's why it was so hard to believe. Nice feed down inside for Zeb Jackson, who gets the bucket.
Great find by Ace Baldwin. This VCU team is a very good cutting team. If you lose track of those guys, especially on the baseline, Jackson, Nunn, Kern are outstanding cutters.
One guy you can't lose as well is number 35 for VCU, David Schreiber, the outstanding three-point shooter. He's playing D right now in Roach.
Look where they're starting their offense. They've just now got it into the three-point line, and we're at 13 seconds.
Burton got it knocked out of his hands, got it back. And now he throws it right to Jackson, who gets the steal.
Right back by Gustafson. Great take.
And that chant is goo for Gustafson. They're not booing here at Richmond as he made a nice play. Here's Nelson for 3, and it's rebounded by Watkins for VCU.
How is nobody dressed up as Maverick and Goose? Are these kids too young?
Point. Yeah. We've got
Talk
a lot
to me,
of,
Goose.
We've got a lot of Spider-Men here to our right, the student section. They were here very early. And you had referenced that too. The students, they've been pumped up for this game for a long time. They were here about an hour and a half ahead of time.
Great atmosphere. As soon as the doors open, come sprinting in to get their seats. They've done a good job defending Burton and being there on the catch, making him feel a little pressure.
Yep.
They do not want to get him. When he gets his right hand going downhill, he is almost unstoppable.
Roach missing on the 3. Watkins the rebound.
Roach comes in the game as a three-point shooter. 190 of his 104 shots coming into this game are threes. He's getting them up, but he does shoot a good clip. Former Rookie of the Year in the SoCon from the Citadel.
Baldwin comes off the Brandon Johns screen and connects.
Quinn's got to be a step earlier. They don't, with their 5-man, they'll play a little drop coverage on the ball screen, so they kind of step back and kind of center field it. But there, he's got to know when that screen is set inside the three-point line, he's very capable of making that shot. As Ron Gruber's doubled over the official over some bodies on the bench.
Yeah. Fouls on Jackson. Chris Mooney, the defending Atlantic 10 champions. The Richmond Spiders last year in second place in the conference at the time being, and pretty impressive, right? Think about all that they lost last year. You and I would kind of go through the names.
Yeah, Jacob Gilliard, Grant Golden, both playing in the G League and playing well in the G League right now. Nathan Ko, Nate Sherrod, guys have scored a lot of points, played a lot of games. And this is a different group now that has a different energy about them, and they do rely on Burton more to make plays, but this is still a very capable Richmond Spiders team that's been better defensively. Both these teams top 3 in the A-10 in defensive efficiency.
Matt Grace works his way in and got it on the hook.
In VCU, they don't want to leave shooters, I understand that, but this Richmond team has struggled to make threes in league play. I think you have to dig down at times on Grace and Neal. They're just too comfortable on the block right now.
Going to be a backcourt violation on VCU.
Shriver and Jackson a little confused.
Back in Richmond, Mike Corey and Dallin Cuff. Let's go to our Saturday selections here at Dallin. What do you got? Game you want to see in the underdog pick? Let's start with those two.
I mean, this is the game tomorrow, and there's a number of good games, but UCLA on the road at Arizona in the McHale Center, 2 o'clock Eastern on ABC. 12 o'clock local tip-off there. The West Coast teams aren't used to doing that very often. UCLA coming off a big win on the road at Arizona State. Veterans at the guard spot, Tiger Campbell, Jaime Jaquez. Arizona has had some weird losses this year, but that's a huge game. And from an underdog pick, the number's already out on this one. Miami's getting 5 points. Miami very well may be the best team in the ACC and one of the favorites to win the conference along with Virginia, in my opinion, as Burton hits a 3. On the road to the Duke team that I don't know how they're going to guard them, flat out. They got a lot of size. If Miami can rebound the ball, I think they win that game because they've got versatility, guards, shot makers, and Isaiah Wong. Let's just say I like the 5 points.
All right, let's see if it holds up for tomorrow. Here's Watkins, who comes back and nails a 3 for VCU, and they're back up by a point.
Watkins was starting for a lot of this year, but now coming off the bench in a role that brought a little bit of energy. He's had a torn ACL in the offseason, still getting back to complete health and like 100% of what he was. But when he comes in, he looks to score and he's a high usage rate.
Bigelow and Randolph are in for the Richmond Spiders. Burton gives it over to Bigelow. Back to Burton. Caught up in the air there in a wild shot. It was a fake, and then he got redirected, and Bigelow got the ball, and he was out of bounds.
And David Shriver is a guy we showed you in that highlight of the Dayton game. He's shooting lights out right now, 17 of 23 from the three-point line last 4 games. But defensively at times, he can be a liability. So I'm interested to see how Chris Mooney tries to attack him when he's playing in this game. Make it more of a feast or famine situation, because if you don't exploit him defensively, he can knock down at will from the offensive side.
Yeah, you said it. To your point there, you see the numbers. He's hit 36 threes on the season. Second most on the team is at 22. So,
dude, 17 to 23 for that is This is game action, folks.
Right.
6 of 8 on the road at Dayton to help them win. 5 in the second half. He's been unconscious. But that said, if you can punish him on the other end, maybe Mike Rhodes can't play him as much, and that helps your team.
None at the free throw line for VCU. Fouled by Bigelow for Richmond. And Quinn is back in for them.
This is a big point of emphasis for VCU, getting to the free throw line, one of the best teams in the nation, and getting there and converting the top 10 in terms of free throw rate. And when they get there, not only can they score, but they're allowed to set up their press. So very important for them to get to the line and be aggressive.
First trips to the free throw line tonight, and they're both knocked down by none. It's a 3-point VCU advantage.
And Bigelow Marcus Randolph just in the game. How do you handle the pressure? Turned over right away, but VCU gives it right back.
Yeah, it's going to be a travel there on Watkins, a little kind of hop step.
And they're saying they wanted a foul. Ace Baldwin got hit when he tried to make the pass.
And Doug Sermon's talking with Mike Rhodes there. I think I'm saying it was your own guy. That, he was trying to jump over there. Here's your turnovers, okay, and then turnovers forced.
Yes, top 10 in the nation, but that's bottom 40 in the nation in turnovers themselves. So they force a ton, but they give it away a lot. They've got to beat. When they're tight with the ball, they are really tough to beat.
But see, I think Mike Rhodes is okay with that, right? It's as long as you don't turn it over and it leads to direct points or on runouts. I mean,
no coach is okay with 22% of your possessions being turned over.
Well, I wouldn't say that, but in terms of the aggressive nature, he's not going to tell his guys to sag off or not be that aggressive. I mean, I think sometimes you're going to have to take a couple of those.
The way you play, you live with some. You don't want to live with that high a percentage, because a lot of them, I as that shot goes off the rim just in time. They're correctable.
Sure.
As he's told us, we got to turn the ball over left. There's Shriver.
There it is, first three-point attempt of the night. It's off, and it's rebounded by Bigelow for Richmond.
And Watkins, great transition defense, got back in time to cut off Burton because Burton ran right in front of us. I thought he was going to have a transition chance. This one they got to make him feel some pressure.
Quinn couldn't get the bounce. None for three. And no one really went after the ball that time for Richmond. Instead, VCU Deloach gets it to the cutting Nunn, and he scores.
That's a great finish by Nunn, but a really smart pass by Deloach.
Largest lead of the night. It's a 5-point game, and it's a 7-0 run for VCU over the last 2.5 minutes. Back in for Quinn. Got the hook.
See, Shriver, and in the strong side, you don't want to help off ball side, but you can dig off of Bigelow. He's not a guy that's going to really hurt you from the three-point line. He's 20 of 77 on the year, 26%. Get the ball out of Quinn's hands and close out late to Bigelow.
Baldwin slashes through and gets the runner.
Very patient. He gets to his left hand. Not much you can do.
Second leading scorer on this team last year. First in assist, top was turning scorer for the Rams, and now you get a steal. Watkins, easy one. Timeout, Richmond.
Chris Mooney's upset, saying to Tyler Burton, like, there are things you don't expect. Watkins was guarding Burton, but he just jumped over into the passing lane. You may not expect him to do that, but this team gambles and tries to make plays. Get to that point of year where these, Titanic clashes every weekend. That when the Pac-12 is really big. For Kentucky to get their season right is critical. I mean, they beat Tennessee. They go and they beat Georgia, as you mentioned. Cason Wallace kind of taking over more of that point guard role. Severe Wheeler was hurt last weekend. He was available midweek, only played 11 minutes. That's probably their best guard. That's their future NBA player. He gets the ball more with the National Player of the Year, reigning National Player of the Year, Oscar Tshiebwe, and other talented players. We'll see if Kentucky starts to turn it. An A&M team is scrappy, though. They defend. They make it tough for you.
I liked what Coach Cal did before that game versus Tennessee. Here's a steal and a foul. It's going to be on Gustafson as Baldwin took it away from him. He said, I took away all the phones, and then I also took away all the iPads and everything, the social media. Just said, no. He's like, we're concentrating, we're getting after it tomorrow.
Yeah.
And maybe when you stop thinking and reading what everybody's saying and all that stuff, they play great basketball.
It's hard to block out all the noise. And Lord knows, I don't know what that noise is like in Kentucky.
Correct.
I have no clue. So to block that all out is difficult, but they've done a really good job the last two games. See if they can do it again. Back here now, though, Richmond now 7 turnovers on 19 possessions. My math isn't good, but that's around 36%, 37%. They end the season average 17% as Johns goes to work again the shot clock.
Johns in the fadeaway over Quinn, and it's an air ball shot clock violation. That was one thing he told me earlier. One is VCU speeding up Richmond and causing a lot of turnovers and errors. Seems like that's the case with the 7 so far. And then your other thing was VCU shot quality. 50% for the field right now, 9-18.
12 points in the paint. We talk about paint touches. They're getting there off the bounce or off the pass.
Burton getting it 2 back for the Spiders. They needed that and a little spark for this Robins Center crowd as well. Burton's got 5 points. VCU leads by 5. Johns a wide open 3. It's long, and Burton's got it. Grace goes baseline. Deloach looked off for a second. Now Burton for 3. And Johns has it.
They're closing hard on Burton. I'd love to see him shot fake and drive that thing.
A push off there from Baldwin. Crowd wanted a foul, no call. Instead, Baldwin gets the jumper.
See, back in my day, Mike,
yes,
you bank that in. But today you don't use the backboard, and he's still got a sweet roll.
Ace Baldwin's been outstanding, averaging almost 12 points a game for this VCU team. That's won 4 in a row and 9 of the last 10. Burton. Nelson. No look, trying to get it inside for Quinn, and it's intercepted. None. And he's fouled by Nelson.
We talk about VCU in the press and whatnot. They're a very good half-court defensive team. In that possession, closeouts, extra efforts, communication. They were everywhere, and then Kern, great job stepping over, reading as Deloach was trying to retreat. He's then helping the helper. He steps in that passing lane going the other way.
I mean, that was That was a great look right there, right? You see it from that angle. You probably saw the same thing. Nelson, oh, here we go. I'm going to fire it inside. And they just come from nowhere, it seems like. Maybe a timeout, VCU. Back with the 90th meeting of all time between VCU and Richmond here from the Robins Center in Richmond, Virginia. The Rams by 7. Johns working on Matt Grace. Burton comes down for the help. And Bigelow's got it.
As soon as Burton, he sensed that second defender, he had a kick out top. Could have thrown it to Josh Banks, let Banks operate from there, or maybe knock down a 3 or swing it around. But he's got to get that ball moving. Too much attention.
There's Nelson. On the drive, he's fouled by Banks. I know that was another point of emphasis you thought about before this game. How's Nelson going to do? Jason Nelson, the redshirt freshman here in his hometown, handling this rivalry matchup.
And he's done all right. He was taken out of the game early on. He's got a couple turnovers. We turned it over the first time he faced the press. He's done okay, but he's made a 3. He's got to. Sometimes it takes a while to settle into this. Because you don't simulate this in practice. You can't really understand what's going on. Again, not just in the full court, but in the half court till you see it. And he's done an okay job at this point.
Solid D here by VCU as Grace trying to find someone to give it to. Gustafson back to Grace, 4-3. Big shot. Count it.
Too easy. A pick and roll, dragged him one dribble over. 2 played 1. Gustafson threw back to a wide open Grace. You got to help and recover a little quicker. Gustafson was never really going to challenge to turn the corner.
Grace gives you a little bit of everything. Very versatile. 4 points, 5 boards, 3 assists, a block in the last game. And then Ace Baldwin returning the favor for VCU.
Gustafson is a very good perimeter defender. 22 in white, one of the best in the conference. And Ace just pulled up right in his grill.
VCU knocked down 2 of 7 from 3-point range. Richmond is 3 of 8 from the outside and losing the handle. Bigelow. Baldwin stops and pops on the break. And Grace gets the rebound.
That is modern basketball, my friend. That was a 3-on-1.
Yeah.
I know they could have had a dunk. Now he's one of the best players in the conference pulling up for 3, but that's a big 5-point swing right there.
Tyler Burton taking matters into his own hands. Top 25 all-time in Richmond history in scoring. Tyler Burton and has led this team in scoring in 12 of the 19 games coming into tonight.
Past his old teammate, Nathan Cayo.
That's right. Banks. Oh, skied it to the air for the rebound is Jason Nelson. 3-on-2 for the Spiders. He leaves it for Bigelow, and he's fouled. What a rebound from the 5'10 Jason Nelson for Richmond.
Yeah. TV term, as I was saying to our producer, please replay that from the rebound, because that is 5'10 now. Banks can get up. He just outworked him. Now he had good position. Now look at his head up. He's surveying the whole time, and Baldwin never made him stop his dribble, so he continued to go until somebody made him stop. I think that's a good no call in the attempted charge. It's a very minimal contact. I wouldn't call it a flop, but I think it was well officiated, but more well played by Nelson from one end to the other.
Bigelow at the free throw line. Substitutions coming in here for both teams. Johns and Banks are going to take a seat. And Nunn and Deloach are back in for the Rams as Grace goes to the bench for Richmond. And Quinn is back in, the 7-footer. Bigelow cuts it to a 3-point game.
Bigelow, a transfer from Wofford. You've mentioned Quinn, a transfer from Lafayette. And Roach just checks in, a transfer from Citadel. They took 17 transfers the first 17 years of Chris Mooney's tenure. They took 3 this year. They knew they had to get older with everybody leaving. And that's why these guys come to these games. I played at a mid-major level. You ain't playing a lot of times in front of 7,000 people outside the Palestra. This is why they came here to play in the A10, to have this type of atmosphere, this type of game.
Baldwin fires it away. No one home. Tried to get it to Nunn, but he was on the wing, and it went to the corner, right into the Richmond bench. And a timeout. Battle for Richmond here tonight with the Rams and the Spiders. Welcome back, Mike Corey, Dallin Cuff. All right, here's the issue that's been this season for the Richmond Spiders.
Yeah, the way they run offense, they space the floor, they pass it really well, and they take a lot of threes. You see the percentage per game. They're taking 44% of their shots are from the three-point line, 46 almost in overall play, which is good for 22nd in the nation. Problem is they're shooting it at a 30% clip in league play. So they're getting a lot of looks, they're not making them. And a lot of those are makeable. So they need to continue to get good shots. But guys like Tyler Burton, he's forced in my mind too tonight. Shot fake, get in the lane. Don't settle, and make sure to continue to run your offense and get good looks. Because this offense is predicated on all 5 guys a lot of times being able to knock down threes.
Yeah, Burton, I mean, he has the ability to do that, right? Read and react and just recognize his athleticism is off the charts.
Yeah, sometimes you catch it and you feel in rhythm. You want to let it fly. But, he can do some stuff around the rim. So do not let them off the hook, if you will.
Burton hands off for Gustafson. Out there with Roach along with Nelson and Quinn.
When they're putting Shriver in ball screen action, 35 black, he's guarding Roach. He can't leave him long. Roach is a driller just like him.
Back door, not there. Quinn takes it in himself. On Deloach, the up fake. Stays with it. This defense, Deloach.
He got a little lucky there because he left his feet. When he's going to his left hand, he's almost never going to shoot it. He's going to pivot and come back to that right hand. He's very right hand dominant. So he left his feet, allowing Quinn to get back to his right. Quinn just missed the button.
Deloach back door, looking inside for Watkins. He gathers it through a double team. Feeds the cutting Deloach. And he scores it. Excellent pass. 28-23. Rams, there's Burton, what you're talking about, and he creates and draws the foul.
Yeah, when he's in his right hand, he's tough, man. He got downhill from the jump. He'll get himself to the line. Take a look at Watkins trying to post up Roach. I like that initial thought. Good help, and he recognizes it. Deloach cuts his man left. Let me cut down the lane. Easy layup.
Spent a good amount of time talking to Tyler Burton before the game here tonight. Just love his attitude, what he brings to this team, this university. And I asked him, because such a super talent, you see it all over the country, right? Players jumping ship, trying to go somewhere else. He's like, I don't think there could be any place that could take care of me better than the University of Richmond has. On and off the court, in school, in the classroom, his teammates, the community. I mean, that's just saying a lot. And credit him for recognizing, he can get to where he wants to go, and that's the next level of the NBA from right here in this amazing institution.
And no doubt about it. He recognizes it. He knows it. He's seen other guys have that success. We already talked about Grant Golden and Jacob Gilliard right now as rookies in the G League and playing well. Grant had a triple-double a couple weeks ago, so Tyler can get there and has the skills, and he's got NBA eyes on him right now in this game and always when he's playing. And I love the fact that he said, because he put his name into the draft, he went to the G League Combine, and he worked out for 10 different teams. I said, what did you learn from that? He said that I can do this. I can be there. And me understanding that is the most important thing first. Very mature young man, because that is right. Once you believe you can do something, you've got to be the first one to try to believe you can accomplish something great, and he believes it.
Gave a lot of credit to former Spider T.J. Klein, one of the all-time greats here. So he came back and he talked to him a little bit just about, everything, really, and his experience and moving forward as Brandon Johns is fouled, going to go to the free throw line. And that's, the great thing about some of these players here, that you have such a network, here at Richmond.
Yeah, great community and leaning on guys that have had success in the past and at the next level. Good job by Johns, the transfer from Michigan. You see how he got his shoulder into Quinn. Didn't push off his arm, just used that wide shoulder to create a little space and get that shot up and get fouled.
It's a second personal foul on Neal Quinn for Richmond, as Johns will have another free throw. Sunday afternoon, we'll have an ACC women's basketball on ABC and the ESPN app contest for you. And number 20, NC State, Diamond Johnson, leading them against Haley, Van Lith, and Louisville. Coverage begins 1 o'clock Eastern, ABC and the ESPN app on Sunday.
Great game of NC State, champs from last year. Louisville, who's been to Final Four a number of times in recent years. Coach Wall's crew, that should be an outstanding game this weekend. How they finish both these teams finish these last 2.5 minutes is critical. Richmond looked like they were wobbly a little bit. They got back to 3 points. You do not want to let VCU extend this thing to 10. If you're VCU, if you can continue to make them play their offense out here and turn them over, you feel pretty good about stealing a couple more points going into break.
Grace works his way on the baseline. He's fouled.
Grace, very good feet. Good little quick spin to get himself into the lane. And Deloach, you see, you got to be straight up and down. That left arm was at an angle. And now he's going to get his second foul. He's going to go to the bench, which does weaken them defensively and on the rebounding side of things as well.
There's his father, Kelly, in basketball, Brock University in Canada. His mom, Leslie, as well. They both were down in St. Bonaventure last weekend. An easier trip there.
Oh, yeah.
Canada watching the Spiders play at the Bonnies.
He had an all-time A-10 tournament last year. Game winner in the semifinal, game winner in the final that sends him to the NCAA tournament.
Had the 3 versus Dayton in the semis, the game winner, the basket, and the foul against Davidson. Brandon Johns exerting authority for VCU.
I love that double high ball screen, and Johns just dove to the hoop. Gustafson was a step late on the weak side help. Really well diagrammed, well executed.
8 points for Johns in this first half. Grace hands off for Bigelow. Shot clock is inside 10. Nelson. 2 to shoot for 3. Gustafson skying in, had his hand on the ball, but it's into the hands now of Watkins.
Shooter.
Schreiber gets the floater instead.
Great body control, and Grace, good KYP, knew his personnel. He came closing out on Schreiber. If you make him put it down, you've won half the battle, but what a little floater.
Well, I like that reference, KYP there. That's pretty good.
Know your personnel?
Yeah. Burton goes right into Baldwin. When he had touched it, he was out of bounds, so it's Richmond possession here. Let's go back to Johns and what he's done so far in this first half.
Yeah, I like this double high ball screen. You see Gustafson's pointing. They're switching it, but now Gustafson's got to get closer. He's got to get into the lane. He's not there. Johns sets that second screen, dives down. He's got a catch and a dunk. You got to fill in, help the helper, because his man was in the corner and less of a three-point threat. Of course, Ace over 6 assists a game. If he missed a couple games early in the year, missed 5 games, he would be one of the tops in the A10, second in the A10 in assists, first in steals, but he doesn't have enough games played quite yet. Yearly
Collins is dominating that category with 10.6 assists. The ball game for St. Louis. We'll see them next week. And Davidson. Baldwin running the other way for VCU. Here's Nunn to the hole. And a foul is called. 39.2 seconds remaining first half.
This is only going to be their 6th free throw. We talk about how important it is for them to get to the lane. They are elite at getting downhill. Nunn, Kern, Ace Baldwin, that trio in particular are great at getting into the cracks and crevices of a defense and getting himself to the free throw line. Why this is so big, we just talked about the last 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Bigelow, who again is shooting 25% three-point line, just settled for a 3 with 20 seconds on the shot clock. You go the other way, he makes a free throw, chance to extend it to 10. Got to be smart.
Jaden Nunn, he grew up bowling alongside his father, Tim, brother Jordan. I know you and I have had our battles in the Golden Tee. Maybe we should see what we can do on the bowling side of things. You good bowler?
Battle implies there was actually competition. We've played.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've worked on your game since then. I'd like to bowl. You ever bowled a turkey? Bowl a turkey?
Oh, yeah.
3 straight strikes?
3 straight strikes. Oh, yes, I have. I've had over 200 a couple times.
What looks like? What are we doing next week on Thursday?
That's what we're doing.
Bowling time, baby.
We're pretty busy here. You got a lot going on here. Here's Burton for 3. And it's rebounded by Bigelow. Gets it back to Burton. Here's Nelson for 3. That one is no good as well. And knocked out of bounds by Bigelow. I believe, yes, it's VCU possession.
Man, that is... Yep. We talked about how important it is that this Richmond team make threes. They're now 25% on 3 of 12. Those two are wide open. You miss those. Now it's a 10-point game, a chance to go further. You take a look. I thought live action was the right call. I thought it went off Bigelow.
That's what I saw, too.
Tough there, but Jeffrey Anderson, we've got a great refereeing crew. He was on it, said it was going the other way.
That's what you said here, though, Down. It's a 10-point game now. As Richmond scoreless the last 4:40. With 4 seconds to go, 3-pointer, no by Baldwin. Burton's got it. That is good if it goes. And it's an air ball. So we've reached halftime, and VCU trying to win 5 in a row and 10 of the last 11. They got a 10-point lead here.
Really hard. Shot fake, get into the lane, and score for yourself or facilitate for a teammate.
Here's your stats of the first half. Why is it so tough to try to come back on this VCU team? What do you think Richmond's got to do to do that here in the second half.
Because you don't want to play fast. And this is a Richmond team that doesn't play fast, and none's going to get called for an offensive foul there. And Mike Rhodes just said, just beat him. He had the corner turn. Just get one quick dribble, push that ball out in front of you, get a paint touch. They've not got a ton of paint touches. They have scored 16 points in the paint, but in terms of getting into the lane off the bounce, has not been that consistent. But that said, Richmond plays 300th in the nation in tempo. You're asking before. They don't want to play fast. You play fast, you play into VCU's hands. So you've got to be efficient. They still have plenty of time, obviously. Stay within your game. They want to try to play inside to Quinn and run your offense a little bit more, get some good shots, and they need to make threes again. They've not done that in league play, and they're down to 25% again today, 3 for 12.
And that's going to be a push off and a foul on Tyler Burton. He picks up his first here.
If you're going to call it on Nunn the other way, and you have to call that on Burton. And it's not a lot. A little bit of hand, a little bit of shoulder. We do have a great crew in terms of Jeffrey Anderson, Doug Sermons, Ron Groover. This is a Friday night crew. Yes. And I know this from playing in the Ivy League. You play Friday, Saturday night. When you played Friday night, oh, baby, we got ACC
That's
and
right.
Big East officials. Just like every player's not created the same, every official isn't either. Because Saturday night, Mike, who knows what was going on Saturday night?
We're going to have an all-star crew every Friday here from here on out. It's going to be great. Deloach dribbled it off his foot, got it back, puts it up, no, and yes, going down hard at Thomas Kern. He's popping right back up, and he got fouled.
That hurts when you can't even put your hand down to brace your fall. He landed right on his elbow, and he's asking for a sub. That's a tough fall. So he couldn't get anything out, right onto that elbow, onto the wood.
Grace is called the foul. Kern is going to try to shake this off. That left elbow goes to the end of the bench. So now for VCU, you got Baldwin, Watkins, Deloach, Nunn, and Brandon Johns, the 5 of the court. Baldwin over Gustafson. It's long. Quinn's got the rebound.
You could tell on the camera from the TV angle, but Gustafson's stepped to his right. He's trying to make Baldwin go to that weaker right hand. And when he pulls up, going to his right hand with his left-hand shot, you can easier contest for Gustafson as well.
And where's Gustafson kind of been here tonight? He's played in 17 minutes now and hasn't even taken a shot.
He's out there primarily as a defensive player. Like, he doesn't do a ton offensively, but you're right. He only averages 5 a game. He's good when he can get out and transition a little bit. Great ball mover and driver sometimes to kick for shooters. He's
got 2 assists on the night. Here's a foul called as Baldwin takes it in. Neal Quinn with his 3rd for the Richmond Spiders.
And we talked about important free throws off of VCU. They're top 10 in the nation in terms of free throw distribution. 44% of their offense comes from the free throw line. They get there a ton. They make a lot. And you take a look at these numbers. Already they've drawn 2 fouls in the first 2 minutes here. They only had 6 attempts in the first half. But as Mike Rhodes says, we are elite at getting into the lane and getting fouled. And that's what they've shown both in attempts and makes this year.
Yeah, top 20 in the nation in those categories. And like you said, it's a great point because then after you make them, hopefully you can set up your press. And all things kind of lead to that, aggressive nature and trying to force turnovers and get the other team out of rhythm.
And Mike always will say about the wearing you down with the press. And it's not physical, it's mental. I've been there before too. You get that ball inbound and like, here we go again. And you've got to just deal with it every single possession and stay locked in. It wears you down.
Well, when we talked to Mike Rhodes about this too, they wear you down because they can run a lot of different guys out on the court as Baldwin taps the ball away. And now this is going to be VCU possession.
Yeah, good job by Nunn to jump on that. And then Gustafson just kind of flailed his arm.
That's second foul on him.
Yeah, second on Gustafson. And Ace Baldwin picking his pocket. See that left arm when it kind of flailed around. And Gustafson actually that's their 3rd foul now as a team. Again, if you're getting a 1-on-1 situation, this is a good free throw shooting team for VCU. Potentially give them some shots.
That's a good point. That's the other thing you got to be mindful of as well. Here's a wide open 3 ball on the way from Watkins. It's in and out. Grace has it. Richmond's got to get something here in this offensive possession. It's a 12-point deficit, and Nelson takes it to the hole.
Coast to coast. I like that he's forcing the issue. He's done that twice in this game where he's gotten a board, he's gone right away. Travel.
5 points for Nelson. You get the turnover. Maybe a little crowd excitement going here in the Robins Center. Here he is on the coast to coast.
His alma mater right now, #1 team in the nation in high school, playing a big game tonight. He's repping them pretty well right now on national TV. Good finish with the left hand, but now he's going to beat the pressure here. Popped, Grace. He's got the throwback. Get it to him.
Yeah.
Couldn't get it there in time. Good ball fake.
Gustafson, extra pass, Roach. She can hit that, and it's short and off to the right. Rebound pulled in by Nunn.
The little things Gustafson does, though, he caught that and knew exactly where it needed to go. The shooter, Roach, he threw it right into his shot pocket. Roach just missed.
Watkins takes it in strong.
Too easy. Got a little confused on the matchup. Nobody communicated. Nobody stepped over to take a charge or even contest the layup from Watkins.
12-point lead, VCU.
VCU's done a great job defending in the half court, too, against the back. They like to pressure. One pass away. Have not got back cut almost at all into screening action. Refusal to a back cut. Have not got beat on that, and that's going to be offensive again. Yep.
Burton can't believe it.
He's upset, but he's got to know the first one he got. This is definitely one again. Watkins can still be moving in the primary defender. He threw that little, kind of just a little off arm into him. Not a lot of contact. In other games, that may not be called. But it was called already in this half on both teams. He's got to know.
What can he do there? What do you do if you're the offensive player? Try not to.
You can't extend that arm at all, and that shoulder. He leaned into him, and he had his arm out a little bit.
And he's a guy that can beat people off the dribble, right? You didn't need to do that. Just kind of keep going. Use that athleticism, that length.
There was good help there, too, though. So he kind of had to go into his defender because the help defense was right there collapsing on him.
Gotcha. Coming up on 4 minutes gone by in this second half. Rams led by 10 at the break. It's up to 12. Here's DeLoach. Burton comes in and takes it away. Spinning, scoring, and is fouled. Thanks very much, Chris. Yeah, I like the fact that we've had 34 Americans in the event to start. That's been the most since 1996.
I guess it's kind of inevitable then if someone have to play each other this early.
Right.
I would love for that not to happen. But trivia time for you.
Uh-oh.
Did I tell you this? Last American to win the Aussie Open?
I don't think you did.
Andre Agassi.
How about that?
2003.
Wow.
I don't know if that's going to happen, but we'll be finding out tonight with Chris and crew. Watching the Australian Open, third round, coming up next.
Yep, coming up right after us here tonight from Richmond, Virginia, and this Friday night Atlantic 10 showcase. VCU with a 10-point lead over the Spiders right now. Tyler Burton can cut it to 9 and can't do it at the line with the bucket and the foul before we went to timeout. Burton has 10 points, which leads Richmond in scoring. Baldwin's got 11 for VCU, the high for the game here.
Double immediately. He's got to see. He's got the shooter, Schreiber.
There he is. Roach a little late on the closeout, and Schreiber does what he does best.
And they doubled right away. And you asked Chris Moody before, they're not going to leave Schreiber, but when you double, you have to rotate out. And he's on that weak side. Great find by DeLoach. And a big-time shot on a tough catch, too.
18 for his last 25 from three-point range. David Schreiber for VCU. He's 1 for 2 here tonight. Gustafson trying to return the favor. Can't. Oh, yes, it does. It goes in. How about that bounce?
Talk to me, Goose. Talk to me. How about that bounce is right? Maverick in the building. That was huge.
Goose chance as DeLoach misses. Burton's got the rebound. Brandon Johns and Zeb Jackson set to check in for VCU with the next whistle. Bigelow is ready to come in for the Spiders. Burton bombs up a 3. Connects.
Got a streamer on the floor. Actually, kind of not a de facto timeout, but just stopping the clock. The crowd quiets down. Let's figure out what we're going to run, because Mike Rhodes was trying to yell over the crowd. And Gustafson, his shot is flat, but that is a remarkably friendly roll. And then Tyler Burton's shot ain't flat at all. He gets a ton of air on his shot. Drops down. Quick 6 points. The crowd is in it right now. How does VCU respond?
6-0 run here for the Spiders in the last minute. It's happened fast. Baldwin falls down. Gustafson got a hand on it, but he somehow shoves it over to Zeb Jackson.
Offensively, they're kind of out of sorts right now. Not sure where they're going or what they're trying to get to.
Johns. Little long. Burton's got it again.
Good show by Johns to make Burton retreat.
Guarded by Watkins now. Burton goes right by him, and he misses on the runner, and Brandon Johns has the rebound. Nice outlet to Jackson.
Uh-oh.
Shriver again gets open, and he scores from three-point range. David Shriver.
We talked about KYP, know your personnel where you're on defense. Also within your team, Jackson could have forced the issue. He saw Shriver wide open on that wing. That is a remarkably high percentage shot as of late. Bigelow!
Jackson. They reverse it out to Baldwin for three. That one's good. Threes raining down here on both sides of the court for VCU and Richmond. Rams are 3 for 4 this half. Richmond is 2 for 4 from three-point range here in the second frame. Grace with the hook.
Again, they're not digging, not making him feel any pressure. When he gets to that left shoulder and that right-hand hook, him and Quinn are deadly.
Baldwin back to Shriver. Bigelow is in his face this time, and he misses. Rebound by Gustafson.
Couldn't quite get his feet set. He was off platform and fading a little to the left. Great contest by Bigelow.
Grace trying to take Johns off the dribble, and there's going to be a foul called. And it's going to go against Johns. That's going to be his first for VCU.
When Johns and Shriver are in the game together, defensively, that's not the strongest unit for VCU, especially when you play a team like Richmond that has bigs that can take you from the floor and take you out on the floor and take you off the bounce. Good recognition by Grace to draw the foul, although on the ground.
Marcus Randolph has come in here for Richmond. You see Johns going to the bench for VCU. Nelson's taking a seat for the Spiders.
After the inbounds here, I wonder if they don't try to attack right away off the inbounds, if you try to get Quinn a touch and see if he can get himself to that left shoulder again on the block, or times if they're going to bring some pressure, he's been able to kick out and maybe get something good out of that.
Randolph, Baldwin's on his hip. Here's Burton. Step back over Watkins. It's a three, and it's short. Baldwin able to corral it and make it, yep, as he brings it up. Jackson off the Deloach screen, feeds it for Watkins. Good help from Quinn. Bigelow got it. Gustafson gets it back to Bigelow, and he's fouled by Baldwin.
Smart play by Ace Baldwin at the end, though, to get the foul and send him to the line after the break.
The Atlantic 10 Friday night showcase continues, 49-40, and so do our Saturday selections. Down, let's go to the last two. Who's hot and under the radar?
Dude, how about Dusty May and FAU? Florida Atlantic, first time ever they're ranked. Second longest win streak in the country. They take on UTEP, ESPN Plus, 9 Eastern. He was very candid. We talked to him on the radio this week saying, hey, this is huge for our school, and we know that little number means a lot to us, but also our opponents. We've got to be more ready. Very open about that. And under the radar, UVA, number 10 team in the nation. I think it's them and Miami are the two teams I would peg to win the ACC. On the road at Wake. And Wake Forest was left out of the NCAA tournament last year with 25 wins, and Steve Forbes' crew thought they were shafted a little bit. They played a tougher schedule. They have quad one wins already. That would be a huge one. You defend your home court against UVA, which I think they can win that game without a doubt. That would be a big step in the right direction for the Demon Deacs.
How about Florida Atlantic, 15 in the net right now? Conference USA with what they've done.
They were 12 2 days ago when I talked to him.
And
he's aware of the numbers, too. And I think it's very refreshing when a coach just fully says, we know this is more pressure, but we welcome that. And it's a unique situation that we just think is really special for us. Helps in recruiting. Also helps them when you go on the ESPN app and you look at the scores. they're on the first page.
Right.
The default, he noted that too. That's
Right.
different. A visibility of your program.
Missing on the three. Baldwin rebounds, Spiders, and Bigelow. Here we go. 7-point game. Richmond a chance to cut into this a little bit more. Here's Randolph.
Randolph's got to break the angle, get Quinn a touch in a better spot. Now he's 17 feet out, got to back him all the way down. But again, no help is coming. Back to his right shoulder. That's left shoulder. That is exactly what he wants to have happen. VCU has to resist that. First of all, scouting report, Deloach can't let him get there. Secondly, they've got to dig at some point. Make him help. Make him kick, excuse me.
8 points for Quinn on 3 of 6 from the field. It's a 5-point game. Schreiber from the kick out, he misses, and right on the rebound to the hole was Nick Kern.
That is a huge play. And you're right, the mistake, first of all, the Schreiber got open, but Zeb Jackson, again, great backdoor cut of the baseline. Good pass out of there. But what a huge play by Kern, who left the game with an elbow injury earlier in the half and is back in there.
Right, he has returned. He had that phenomenal play last weekend on our Friday night game at Dayton to get the lead for VCU in the late stages of that game. Foul here on Jalen Deloach, his third.
And Schreiber with a rare open miss, but Kern there to clean it up. And giving them another 7-point cushion. And now Johns checks in for Deloach, who got another foul. And Mike Rhodes is trying to talk to him about how to defend Quinn. If they go inside again, Johns has got to keep him from getting to that right hand and left shoulder.
I mean, Deloach is a phenomenal player when he's out there. I mean, he had 19 points, 12 rebounds in the last game. Nice backdoor. Bigelow on the feed from Quinn.
Almost a blind pass. He just knew that cut was coming off. That's a lot of repetition and work, and that Princeton offense out of the high post over the top, and Bigelow, big finish.
Crowd's back in it. Schreiber kicks it for Jackson. Halfway through this second half in this rivalry matchup in a battle for the city of Richmond. 90th meeting between these two. 5 to shoot. Baldwin slashes through. The runner, no. And Randolph is fouled. Third on Baldwin.
That's his third foul, which is a critical piece here. But you see, catching in the high post, he knows, he sees Schreiber's going to be trailing him. He just turns and throws. He doesn't look and identify as a weak side defender going to be there. They know they have good floor space, and Quinn gave them great minutes.
Yes, he did. He was fired up after that last play. Burton now draws contact and a foul.
Burton's done a good job attacking early. Before VCU set, I mean, there's 24 seconds in the shot clock. He's downhill getting to the lane. He did it a couple times in the first half, doing it again here.
Kern with his first personal foul for VCU. Burton with 13 points. It's a team high. 1 for 3 from the free throw line. 1 for 4 now. Cut it to 4 with his second free throw coming up. Sunday afternoon, ACC women's basketball on ABC and the ESPN app. Number 20, NC State and Louisville. Diamond Johnson is Haley Van Lith. Coverage begins 1 Eastern on ABC and the app.
A couple of ballers there. HBL, as she's known in ACC country. Haley Van Lith will get you buckets. That's a big game. Around the country for sure in recent years. They've been top 5 usually.
Yep.
Louisville had some struggles early in this year, but imagine they'll right the ship. VCU has a little substitution issue here. Trying to get to the right 5 men on the court.
They got a lot of guys that they can run on the court. It was a 17-4 lead, bench points coming out of the last timeout in favor of VCU. And that's what they do. They go deep.
They do go deep, and now this is the first time we've seen Richmond go to their press. And we talked already, VCU could be a turnover-prone team, and there it is.
None leading in, called for the charge. That's his third.
Just didn't need to, but part of what that foul was for Ace Baldwin, when you lose your floor general, he goes off. That's a little bit of a flop, but at the same point, that is how this has been called this game. When that off arm has made contact. Burton twice, Baldwin once, Nunn once. They've called it consistently on both ends.
Agreed. It's a 4-point game here now. Spiders have it, 9.5 remaining. Nelson, he got it stripped. Zeb Jackson took it right out of his hands. And then Burton gets the steal from behind. And Jackson stays in. Got it back somehow. And it's going to get reset here with Jaden Nunn. Watkins, he's open for three. Schreiber, the offensive rebound.
Schreiber's been huge. He had a nice little floater there, but this is a timely basket, too, to quell the crowd. And it was a great find initially to hit Watkins on the open three.
He's got 10 points, and now they're going to call a foul on Brandon Johns. And you were talking about this the other way, where, VCU getting sent to the free throw line. It's actually going to be Richmond here now with a 1-and-1. That's the 9th team foul committed by the Rams.
Yeah, good skip across for Watkins to get the three. Not there, but Nelson doesn't box out. Doesn't put a body on Schreiber. He gets in there and catches, and he's got beautiful touch to get it up and in. His 10th point of the game. And 2 of those aren't threes. That is notable.
Right. Now Grace from the free throw line for Richmond. They're 10 of 13 overall as a team here tonight.
He's 74% in the season, but foul shots win ball games. Burton's missed 3 of his 4 he's taken. You got to step up and knock these down, especially the front end.
If Richmond wins here tonight, it would be back-to-back wins over VCU from that A-10 quarterfinal win in the tournament last year, and then this game here tonight. First time since they swept the season series in the 2017-18 season. And second place is on the line for them at 5-2 with a victory. For VCU, if they win it, they're in sole possession of first in the conference at 6-1.
You saw Ace Baldwin check back in this game too. He's got 3 fouls, but they can't afford to have him on the bench. That's a kick. And you see Ace saying, "Throw it up to Johns. Throw it." He wants to advance the ball to the sideline there, and then he can look middle to Watkins. They can break it to score versus just breaking it to break it. You got to punish a team that presses you. You can't just break it and pull it out, otherwise it's never feast or famine. It's only feast. You need to make it a proposition where if you beat it, you can get an odd man break.
Johns gets the none.
Offensively, they've looked discombobulated.
Yeah, they have. You're right. Here's a 3 ball. Good look, and draining it is none.
That's where they've survived recently. Offensive rebounds, guys making individual plays. That was created by Ace Baldwin, just getting a paint touch and then kicking it out to none wide open.
6th three-pointer made on the night for VCU, 6 of 18. Grace trying to get 2 back in the inside. He's blocked by Deloach, and he saves it into Baldwin, who goes all the way up the court for Watkins and finds Johns on the no look, and he's got it knocked out of bounds. And they'll stay with VCU when we return. Well, I mean, being such a great three-point shooter, I know you say you don't take a lot of 2s. He probably doesn't like it either because he wants 3 balls. But if they come running out at you like that, you up fake, you pop in. He's such a good shooter, you can knock down those mid-range shots. Why not?
And I wasn't as an elite shooter as he was, but that was my job too. At times, when you get a second, you want to let it fly. But it takes great discipline to know when you get that shot fake, sometimes you can side dribble, big finish. And sometimes you can get into the lane and create for yourself or your teammates. He has a great feel and understanding right now, and they have not punished him much on the defensive end, which sometimes you can do. This is a great call of a timeout. They're going to isolate Johns. You know he wants to get back to that left shoulder, but we keep talking about the cutting from VCU. Watkins, Jackson, Dunn, Kern. Out of that corner on that baseline, those guys really cut well. When their man turns their head and they lose track of them, they're going to the tin.
Gustafson with a foul, and the three-point play is converted by Watkins, and it goes back to what you were saying a moment ago. You did all this work and all this hustle, Richmond, It's still a 10-point game like it was at the half.
It's you get it to 4, and now this is a good job again, wasting the time, 20 seconds on the shot clock. They haven't got into anything. They're trying to get Quinn a touch. Good job by Deloach to push him off the box.
And Richmond shooting well this half. I mean, they're 8 of 13 from the field, 62%. You saw the free throw numbers, 12 of 15. They're playing better, but it's still a 10-point deficit. Now here's Nelson with 3 to shoot. Has to hoist it up, and Watkins has the rebound.
He went Jimmy Chitwood 1 foot there, and Ron Groover spots an issue with the shot clock.
Can always stop play, take a look at timing errors. Feel like there's something wrong there. They're going to take a look at it. 7 minutes and 14 seconds to play in this contest.
What makes VCU good is, again, we talk about the full court defense at times turning over. Their half court defense is excellent. And in that situation, you just go up 10. You bury a 3, you get an and 1 out of a timeout, and you come back and you probably had one of your best defensive possessions of the second half. And they force them to take a running 1-footer. That's an outstanding possession. With a little clock malfunction. And then it reset. but their half-court defense and understanding the moment.
Yeah.
Like, as Richmond's gotten closer, they've had an answer every time. That answer was defensively. Hey, we just extended it to 10. Can we keep you at bay here? And they've had a possession where Richmond never even threatened getting inside the three-point line, never left the lane.
And we had talked about there was a few times where it looked like VCU's offense was out of sorts a little bit there, but they kind of got it figured out. And like you said, understanding the moment, Shriver getting open, making nice passes, getting to the free throw line.
They were just making plays at times. Like they weren't quite, they said discombobulated was the word on a couple key possessions, but you got a guy like Ace Baldwin who has the ball in his hands. He went and just made a play a couple times. And they had a couple offensive boards, like very timely baskets. Isolated Johns again.
That's a nice up fake and a reverse to the baseline side. He's fouled by Quinn.
That's the matchup that Mike Rhodes wants to attack. They've done it twice now. They think if Quinn's going to be on Johns and he can turn and face from about 12 or 13 feet, that's an advantage for them.
And Quinn's going to be coming out because that's his 4th personal foul. 7 minutes remaining in this game as Johns has had the stripe. And normally VCU has bigger numbers off this stat. They have only 4 points off the 13 Richmond turnovers tonight. So it depends on kind of how you get them, but normally they dominate that, and it could be even worse right now than an 11-point lead.
It's a pretty low possession game though, and with Richmond turning over 13 times, but remember 9 of those were in the first half. And they were that was about 33% turnover rate. 1 of every 3 possessions were turnover in the first half. That makes it really hard to get in the flow, and obviously that's why they were down, part of why they were down 10 at the break.
Nelson. Bigelow. 3 ball in and out. Watkins. He's got 9 rebounds tonight. Jamir Watkins, the sophomore for VCU. It's an 8-0 run for the Rams over the last 2 minutes plus.
We talk about their depth, and Watkins was a starter for a lot of the year, but they get contributions from everywhere. And their bench steps up, their starters make play. They just have 9 or 10 guys that can hurt you.
And now Watkins for 3, and he does it on the offensive end. It's a guy that missed all of last year with a torn ACL. Comes back, huge addition for this VCU team. And now he knocks the ball way out of bounds.
And this is how Ace Baldwin just gets guys involved. It's simple ball screen, and then it's just making the right read and the right pass. Delivers it on time, on target, and Watkins knocks it down again. And Ace has got 5 assists on the game, along with his 14 points. You need stars to put type of those performances to beat your rival on the road, and he's done it. And Watkins has been very good up the pond.
4 different players have hit threes for VCU. Burton coming back the other way, and he's short on a 3. And Ace Baldwin trying to get up to Deloach. It's knocked into the hands of none.
I thought Watkins tried to do that, just try to tip it over. When he let that ball go, I thought that was going to get picked off, but in the end, ends up being 2 points for the Rams. They're in complete control now.
It's been excellent. This team's been on a tear since they started this run back on December 11th when they beat Howard. They won 5 straight. They had a bad loss at Duquesne. They were down like 20-plus in that game. Ended up losing by 9. But then since then, 4 wins in a row. We know how big the one was last Friday night in Dayton. And they took care of UMass handily, and now here tonight. In this rivalry matchup, 17-point lead. Here's Grace for 3. Nunn gets the rebound.
No hesitation. Grace just got to catch that. Nobody's on him. Just a little pick and pop, catch that and shoot that. He's a very good shooter. But VCU, like the run they're on, they're receiving votes in the top 25. But when you look at our guy Joe Lenardi's and bracket projections, VCU's not in it, and people start to look at that resume. That was a quad 1 win last week at Dayton, which is great. But beyond the quads, you got to stack wins. And this is a league that may not have multiple bids. You got to stack wins, and this has been an impressive run by them.
Burton got knocked out of his hands and out of bounds. Let's take a top of the table.
Good steal, but again, when you've got Burton going to his left, it's something he needs to continue to work on. Good hustle to save it, but in the end, couldn't keep it in play. So it get turned over to the Rams, and they'll get pressure. Man, that was a quick way, easy way to beat the press. Ace Baldwin knows exactly where he wanted it to go.
this VCU team playing together, right? I mean, they run a lot of guys out there, and they don't seem to miss a beat, right?
They've got a lot of parts that are similar, but also complementary at the same time. Watkins, I thought that was going in, just how his day has been, but a huge offensive rebound, and they're just pouring it on now.
John scores it, and that's happened too many times today where they've gotten wide open shots like that on the wing.
And only 8 second chance points in the day for VCU, but always at critical times. Like they had a couple when they were struggling offensively. Schreiber had the one, Kern had one. And Theo Johns, the transfer from Michigan, just outworking Grace, just rips it out of his hands.
Fourth foul on Baldwin. 2 shots here.
And Johns has loved coming here. He told us that last week, coming to VCU from Michigan, where he was on an Elite 8 team a couple years ago, but he was a reserve player. He had a different role. He'd come in and scrap and defend and maybe get a putback or two. Here they're running offense through him and needing him to step up. He's getting 12 a game, and he's loved that role and what this team is asking of him.
Yeah, I mean, he was only averaging 3.2 points, 2 rebounds last year at Michigan. Talking about Brandon Johns there, and played in 117 games, though, with 25 starts. Talk about the experience you can get on a team like that, going to multiple NCAA tournaments and going deep into the tournament.
And we talk about transfers a lot and getting experience from places. And I have a lot of experience losing college basketball games. You know, experience really matters? Winning games. And he came from a winning program, winning a lot of games. And that really helps when you bring that into this VCU program, not just bringing in a guy that's been around for 4 years. What kind of environment he was coming from? What does he learn? And Zeb Jackson also was coming from Michigan, too. He's getting taken out number 2 in black. But he's a former top 75 recruit in ESPN, top 100. And he's a guy that has a lot of talent, and he's still trying to get fully confident in what he's able to do. He struggled at Michigan, but he's got another opportunity, and Mike Rhodes loves him.
Chris Moody had some nice words for VCU and what they've done over the years and what their team is like. He thought, 9 through 13 is some of the best he's seen. They do such a great job with that. What do you mean 9 to 13? Almost like 5-6 through 13. It's really anybody off the bench because Coach Rhodes gives them opportunities and keeps morale up, keeps everybody a chance. And when you're out there, you're going to go 100%, then you're going to come out.
Exactly, yeah. I'm going to give everything I've got, and I'm going to come out, and my teammates got to have a chance. And those guys a lot of times take advantage of those opportunities. If they don't, Watkins gets fouled full court. If they don't, they know it's not done for them. Coach Rhodes knows him. Going to go back to you. You will have another opportunity in this game or the next. A&M, though, scrappy. 1-6 straight, as you mentioned. Outstanding defensive team. Duke, I'm not sure how they're going to guard Miami. If you have not seen Miami yet, folks, they've got 4 guards led by Isaiah Wong. They can spread you out and drive you. I know you saw them get to the Elite 8 last year. It's a very similar group, though, with Norshad Omier, a big in the middle transfer, plays much bigger than 6'8 frame. So if they can rebound it, I think they beat the Blue Devils. And they're getting 5 points from the guys in arid regions.
There you go.
So
this is one of your underdog selections earlier. Norchad Omier is outstanding. Talk about going after balls and selling out. That guy's a fun player to watch from Miami. Did a game earlier this year down at their place against Rutgers.
Take a look at this summary today. We talk about Richmond making threes, 25% from the three-point line. Again, they take a bunch of threes. You've got to make some. They have not done it. Here's Bigelow again. He's shooting now probably around 22% of the year. He's missed 4 today. As Jackson gets fouled.
Yeah, having a block by Watkins there, too, over the 7-footer in Quinn. And the drought from the field continues for Richmond. They have not made a field goal in the last 7 minutes and 9 seconds. They've had 2 points from the free throw line after it was a 53-49 game. They clawed their way all the way back to a 4-point deficit, and now we're looking at a 19-point lead for VCU.
And VCU made that gap 10 quick. It was an and one off a layup. It was a three-pointer from Shriver, and that put it at 10. And it wasn't a nail in the coffin, but you could see where it went away, where the hope was going away. The building got quiet. But also as we talk about the physical, mental exhaustion of playing not just the pressure defense full court, but half court, how good they are defensively. Some guys just worn down. They couldn't make the shots. They couldn't make the plays. And VCU kind of just goes from strength to strength with this depth.
20-point lead. Good job by Watkins tonight for VCU. It's his 3rd career double-double. 15 points and 10 rebounds. Leads everyone in both of those categories here tonight. Gustafson kicks it. Bigelow. No good on the 3. Watkins trying to get another rebound. Instead, it's out to Burton. Bailey trying to go baseline. It's Jai Bailey in the ball game for the first time tonight. Was battling through a broken left hand that he suffered about 5 weeks ago. Missed 8 games, played just 6 minutes in the last game. Now in here at the end of this one.
Important to get him back in. Another guy that can give you something on the wing, make a shot, a little bit of a creator.
And Quinn misfires, and the energies has been kind of drawn right out of this building here tonight in the Robins Center in Richmond. These two teams will meet again on February 24th, 6 miles across town in the home arena for the Rams at the Siegel Center. You and I will be there, Dallin. That's going to be a Friday night affair right here on ESPN2. We'll have that one for you. And here's what we got coming up. Looking forward to next weekend. Davidson taking on St. Louis. Billiken starting to get it figured out a little bit there. And one of the most exciting players in the nation to watch, one of my favorite, Yuri Collins, leading the nation in assists with 10.6 a game.
Yeah, he's dropping dimes. I would love to play with Yuri Collins.
Yeah.
He hooks guys up, and sometimes he can force it and get the turnovers. That's okay. When he's got great vision, plays with great pace and poise and control. And excited to see that game next week.
St. Louis is 5-1 on the season in the A-10, along with Dayton. These teams will play tomorrow. But this VCU team, though, as Jackson takes it in, he's blocked from behind by Bailey. This VCU team is going to go to 6-1, and for the time being, will be in sole possession of first place in the conference.
And this was a league coming in where we thought it was going to be Dayton, St. Louis, VCU, those three in particular battling for the top of the league and maybe even, multiple bids. Unfortunately, there were some injuries to different key players and didn't perform as well as you want in the non-conference. So that's why some of these regular season games are just even more important. To stack wins, to get wins, whatever quadrant they're in, and continue to build your resume, build your record. So come March, it's hard for the committee to turn it down. And the committee does look at when guys are in and out. So when Ace Baldwin misses 5 games, they look at that and assess that for the Rams and some of the struggles they had when he was gone. After
this for VCU, they're going to be at home, of course, just across town there. They're going to take on George Mason and St. Bonaventure. And then Davidson will have the February 3rd game versus St. Louis.
This may be the biggest shot of the game for the fans. If he misses 2 free throws, it's 2 free tacos for everybody in the building.
Oh, there you go.
So there's 1 down. That's why the crowd may come to life here. Make noise. 1 more miss for Rusty Taco. I'm on pins and needles.
Did we get him as well? Or? Yeah.
Taco Friday!
How about that?
I don't want the tacos. Can I get some mezcal with it, maybe?
Richmond fans are hoping for a W, but they'll get out of town here at least with some free tacos after those 2 straight misses at the line.
Not a bad deal. They may want a cerveza or 2 after the game.
Yes, right. Credit the crowd, though. I mean, awesome atmosphere here tonight. Sold out. 7201 the attendance here at the Robins Center. Students were here a good hour and a half before the game, racing in to get the seats. Now, this Richmond team's going to be okay, but like you said, you get it up against VCU, they get that lead on you. It's hard to come back against this team.
Oh, it's really hard to come back. And you have 16 turnovers. Again, this is a thing that Chris Moody's team has always been great at, is not turning the ball over. They're almost top 10 in the nation every year in turnover rate. This year, their numbers aren't bad. It's it's how they turned it over at times. Some very correctable mistakes, sometimes casual with the ball. And today, they didn't lock in. And they had 3 turnovers the first 3 minutes of the game, kind of set the tone for some of their struggles on that end of the floor.
Zeb Jackson. Feeds the cutter. That was Kern, who goes out to the outside. And a 3 ball that time no good by Banks. Offensive rebound. Back to Jackson for 3. It's good.
Those are big shots for his confidence. This is a young man shooting 6 of 32 from the 3-point line coming into this game. That's sub 19%. But if he's able to make shots like that, even when this game is out of touch, he carries that with him.
Bigelow for 3 for Richmond. And the drought continues.
It's almost the same thing for Bigelow. I feel like he's shooting threes because he's supposed to shoot threes, and that's like the scouting report on him. But he's not shooting it with confidence, and he's struggling. In this game, I think 0 for 6 now from the 3-point line. And 0 for 5, excuse me. And some of them were early in the shot clock were some misses when the game was still tight in big possessions.
Big thanks to our crew here tonight, doing an awesome job with our producer Damon Lewis, with Ryan Jordan, Greg Ambrose, Michelle Gleason, and more helping us out here tonight. Mike Corey alongside Dallin Cuff. Thanks to Randy Atkins and Stats. And Richmond still without a field goal over the last 9 minutes and 25 seconds.
Wow. But we keep saying VCU is a good defensive team. In Richmond, nothing was easy. It's very similar to how Richmond closed that Dayton game. They did not give up, and they got stops down the stretch of that Dayton game to allow themselves to have a chance. And Ron Gruber just got teed up. Ron Gruber is teeing up Kern. Well explained by Doug Sermons, one of the best officials in the business, as a technical there for Nick Kern. And as Doug said so aptly, I don't know what he said, but he said something. I'm over here next to you guys. So,
yeah.
But Ron Gruber hit him with the technical.
Roach for three, and finally Richmond getting a field goal, but that's coming with 46 seconds to go. And then Noyes comes back in here. Aiden Noyes gets a bucket. Now another steal. Here's Roach again for three. Noyes to rebound. Rejected by Banks. And Jackson's got it.
Housekeeping. It was a double technical, Kern and Sermons was trying to tell us in live action.
Right.
So,
I was going to say.
Housekeeping, not that important, but still, 20-point game.
You know, credit the job, though, these officials do, right? You keep order throughout the entire game from start to finish, no matter what time's left on the clock. These guys did a great job. 15 seconds remaining in the contest. And a shot clock violation. All right, down. We'll be looking forward next weekend to St. Louis at Davidson on this Friday night for the A-10.
Should be another big game. Should be a good environment down there at Davidson with the St. Louis team coming into town. We know they're 4-0, as we said, or they won their last four, excuse me. And they have a big game hosting LaSalle to try to move to 5 straight. The Billikens do as Davidson takes on LaSalle on Tuesday, excuse me.
Yeah, going to get the win here tonight as the shot goes up and in by Marcus Randolph. But it's the Rams that are going to win 5 in a row and 10 of their last 11 to improve to 15-5 on the season with a 74-62 win here tonight against the Richmond Spiders.